Welcome back, everyone. Starladder Season 11 Europe continues now. It's going to be Power Rangers versus Virtus.Pro, who are looking fantastic in their last game up against Basically Unknown. Then, of course, two more Basically Unknown games coming up after that. Draft a little underway. I'm Helium. With me, Blaze. What's cracking?
Not too much. Looking forward to this match in particular. These two teams have shown that they can hit some major strides as far as like the metagame evolution. They really think on their feet as far as the draft goes, and they have some pretty cool strats in mind. We also have some really good core players in particular. Like obviously you like J4 as the support, but I'm a real big fan of Dit Your Raw and Cheshire Cat on their core, and obviously we've seen what BZC and G can do on their cores as well. But we'll see. Nice little matchup here. I think both teams are pretty well suited for one another as far as skill level goes. I think the Virtus.Pro have a slight edge here, but PR have certainly been known to pull plenty of upsets, and I don't think this is anywhere out of their hands. So, looking at the early draft here, I love the early Necrophos pick. Ogre Magi plus Necrophos, you get one multicast, you get a Reaper Scythe, you get momentum. You kill somebody, you take them out of the game, and you just build off of that. He's actually a pretty intense pushing hero just based on the fact that you can engage on a tower 5v4, not just the fact that he can do the AoE damage, because that obviously isn't as sustainable. But he is going to be going up against some heavy nukers here. The Skywrath, the Tide, they disable, they damage, and it is going to hurt. I mean, the one thing Necrophos doesn't want is to be taken out of a fight really quickly, but a Mystic Flare, in a lot of cases, can do just that. For now, the Dazzle will keep him alive. I'm curious if we actually see some more of that Axe pick to try to knock him down. We have actually seen that. Like I used to talk about it a lot because it was good in theory, but no, it's actually been picked up a couple of times in the past week.
Saw it 2 times yesterday, I'm pretty sure.
Exactly.
Not against the Dazzle, but we did see Axe. Once it gets Dazzle, once it gets Broodmother. It's a great
Good
effect.
stuff.
I believe that was the Lions, and it cracked me up. I was reading through some of the YouTube comments and also just the spam that was happening during that game because it's Lions and then Alliance, so everyone was typing Alliance, you know.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
good. I enjoyed it. But Sky, Tide, Elder Titan once again. Virtus.Pro gonna try to have a bit of a better game with the Elder Titan than we just saw with Basically Unknown. It was a pretty rough time in that off lane. I'd love to see an Axe, but it looks like his general lanes have kind of been taken away from him already with the Elder Titan and or the Tide Hunter. But again, it could show up middle. Do you fare very well with that hero against the Necrophos, who does have the potential to go into the mid lane for PR?
Who specifically, the Elder Titan? Or...
I mean, like Axe versus Necro.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
I see.
I'm pretty
I don't
sure
think
that's
Necro's
really
gonna go mid.
good.
Yeah, I don't think Necro's going to go mid. I drastically prefer to see him in the safe lane. He doesn't get as much experience, but he's so much more safer in his farm. It's kind of like a Razor to some extent, where like if he dies twice in like the first 10 minutes,
Yeah.
you're in a really bad state of affairs because you just can't build up the durability you need on the hero. So I definitely prefer the safe lane Necrophos, and I think that's probably what they're going to run here. But I mean, if they do run it mid, and there does happen to be an Axe, it would be a pretty interesting back and forth. It would be all about the last that's denies because of that sadist, and yeah, it would be pretty interesting to watch. I don't think either one being drastically favored, though. There would be certain levels where one would be more active than another. Either way, we're going to see an Ember Spirit here, and with that, I think that shuts the door on all those Axe lines of thought. They're just going to have to do it the old-fashioned way, wait out the shallow grave, and then go in for the kill after. But I love Ember Spirit plus ET. I think there's a lot of potential with this hero in particular. The fact that he's a glass cannon, and Elder Titan is all about enhancing that damage. There can just be so many kills coming their way. The Skywrath and Ember should be able to net a lot of frags on Necrophos, especially if the Searing Chains connect. Searing Chains, Mystic Flare, maybe an Astral Spirit on top, and even a Dazzle can't save you from that one. That is a hefty sum of damage coming out there, and yeah, I think the Dazzle is a smart counter pick to the ET and goes well in synergy with the Necrophos, but they did need a little bit more core behind that, so it looks like it will be the PA, and in my opinion, it should be the PA solo mid, but in either case, they have two good core laners.
Yeah, PA once again gonna emerge here. Virtus.Pro, will they be able to deal with, or at least they can strip away some of that armor with the Elder Titan, even some magic resist, or the Ember Spirit Flame Guard if the Sleight of Fist connects. There's some okay burst damage for the PA, but there's a Grave, there's a Shadow Weave, there's a Death Pulse, there's probably a Mechanism, earn charges as well, even after the fact of a team fight, maybe Ogre picking up that. So there's a potential for Raid Boss PA. There's also the Bloodlust that's going to be used up on her. And that's looking pretty scary. Maybe we see something like, yeah, a little out of the ordinary, but maybe a Magnus offlane, even get the Empower out for your PA.
That's an interesting idea. I actually don't mind that whatsoever. I think that could be rather potent. No matter how they run it, though, I mean, she's going to be pretty survivable. The Dazzle is going to have his work cut out for him, though, because VP are really going to be gunning for breaking down either the Necro or the PA down quickly, and he has to play like the World of Warcraft heals here. He has to like switch targets very quickly. Say, okay, I'm healing you, I'm shallow graving you, and just keep people alive. That's his only job, but it's a tough one here. As Virtus.Pro, they obviously have shown their penchant for killing people off. We saw that last game where they were just all over the place with their initiations. And if they pick up one more active initiating hero, then I do worry that PR are just going to be taken down too quickly for Dazzle to get in position to keep them alive. But if he does do his job well, if he gets the defensive weaves off to counteract the natural order, and he does get enough heals to keep Necro and PA alive, they have so much potential to carry this game. I mean, taking somebody like the Ember Spirit out of the game entirely with the Reaper Scythe and then just pushing in, like, there's nothing that VP can do under those circumstances except have a double Ravage, which Sadoy, he does build it up gradually, but we've seen more often the Tranquil Boots build from him, so he usually has to go one extra item before the Refresher Orb. It's good for laning, but it does limit his progression.
All right, we're going to see what the next pick is in just under 20 seconds. Virtus.Pro looking for the one roll. I guess there's a chance that Ember Spirit, yeah, whatever. He pretty much has that role anyways, no matter where he lanes. But there's a chance to go safe lane, most likely the mid, so probably looking for the safe lane here. Just
Ooh.
kidding. There you go, Ember Spirit going safe. Zeus, once again, going to be played by G. I mean, he had such a fantastic game the last time. They do need that magic damage. That's the one thing that can't get through a PA in the early game. And what, it was the 11-minute mark where Virtus.Pro really turned on the heat in that last game, and that's well before any BKB timings on a PA. So Zeus looking to bring down that assassin.
Yeah, I would not want to be playing the Dazzle this game. So many people will be screaming, "Grave me, grave me, grave me." There's just too much death. There's too much damage coming out from Virtus.Pro's lineup. They have so much potential to kill anybody they want in about 3 seconds flat. Like, they have the Zeus damage, the Ember damage, Skywrath Tide. Like, people are just going to drop. The bodies are going to hit the floor, and Power Rangers, they're going to have to really just pull themselves together and just kind of work with how things can when the dust settles. I mean, when the tide pops that Ravage, whoever remains alive, do what you can. Because there's still a lot of potential turnaround damage. Like, if the Dazzle keeps the Necrophos alive, he can get the Reaper Scythe off, the Death Pulse off, and get some good heal for everybody, get some good Sadist regen. But end of the day, this is a very hard draft to deal with, and I think they need some hard control. The offlaner here has to be able to disable effectively and make sure that they're going to be able to extend the duration of the fights. So we're going to see the Beastmaster come out. Who better to control than the primal roar of the Cheshire Cat? This is going to be fun. I think I've seen a couple of like support Beastmasters doing little jungle-y things, but it's been a while since we've actually gotten to see like a real Beastmaster just get in there, maybe buy a Blink, work towards a Necro or an Aghanims. A Vlad's is also really good here, so I expect that. And in general, just get involved. So maybe get and I'll talk about skill builds and stuff once we actually get into the game and start talking about him specifically. But I like the pick. He's a very durable hero at level 1 even, and he is going to be able to bring that control that they desperately need.
Yeah. Cheshire Cat, though. The roar, not so great for Tidehunter. I think even in a couple Summit games we saw that fall a little bit flat. Like, you roar him, but he'll cracking it off almost immediately. You're looking for that big disable to stop that Ravage from coming out. I guess, at least in this game, you can start with the roar and then maybe follow it up with the Reaper's Scythe. So there is some strong single target lockdown there. Single target lockdown in the Ogre Magi. You do have the AoE damage with the Death Pulse and the Heartstopper Orb, but I'm getting maybe just a little worried that they could have trouble controlling this Tide if Sadoy once again has a good game. Like, you've got Sadoy coming straight out from that last game. He played a fantastic Tide. You've got God on the same hero as well from the last game, played fantastic. VP just trying to carry that momentum here, I think, into the start of this game versus the Power Rangers.
Yeah, one thing that the Beastmaster can do is control the Ancient Sex a little bit with summons. You put the Hawk up there, he'll scout it, and oftentimes they have at the right timing, then you prevent the stack from occurring. And I think that's an important thing to consider. Beastmaster already is going to be farming a lot of stacks himself. Could actually look to steal some, perhaps, with the wild axes. But end of the day, it's got to be a point of emphasis here. You're right, they don't have control for Sadoi, but if they inhibit his ancient farm, I think they can just be fine with controlling the Zeus and the Ember.
Yeah, it could work. And you were talking about skill builds for the Beastmaster in particular. What do you prefer to see for the hero?
It's tough because obviously he wants the wild axes to farm the ancients, but the multiple points in Call of Wild is really where his utility brings. And this is kind of a pushing lineup, right? Because they've got the Dazzle, the Necrophos, that's AoE heals and keeps Creepwave alive. They could go for a definitely at least an early point in Inner Beast. It doesn't scale the way it used to, where it was a 1-point wonder, but it is still one of those abilities that you really do want to have. So it's hard to like nitpick. I'm going to be fine with whatever he goes, but I think that a lot of people underrate the third point in Call of the Wild, where you get the
Yeah.
extra, the better Hawk.
The
You get
pros
that
don't
better-
seem to underrate it, but I think your average person does, I think.
Sure, sure. But if you get that Greater Hawk, you get that vision out. You can see the ganks coming from like the Sky Wrath. You can really mess with the Tide, and it just causes real problems. But already on the Ancient Camp, you see that D ward coming out. Giottum is
Nice.
going to take care of business, and they're going to get the 1-minute spawn.
It's nice to see PR realize, though, that they need to stop the Tide's Ancient, and that gives me hope that the Beastmaster, like you said, with the summons, will go ahead and try to shut that down even a little bit more. I prefer just going, by the time you're level 7 or 8 or whatever it works out to be, 2, 4, 1, 1 on the Beastmaster. That's when I was studying up the hero, that's what Universe did in almost every single game. Sometimes getting Wild Axes a little leveled up earlier, sometimes not even more than 1 point. But let's introduce the teams. Power Rangers. We talked enough about this, man. Cheshire Cat on the Beastmaster. Middle lane, it's going to be the Phantom Assassins. Ditya Ra, the new carry, put on a show yesterday on Sven. We've got Soneko. He's going to be playing the Dazzle up here, supporting in the top lane alongside J4. We'll ignore that. Smoke wasted, unfortunately. And we've got Shocklow here on the Necrophos.
So I think that a big thing about the new runes is that Beastmaster can cover them very effectively. He's a great rune controller. That's why I used to pub with him a lot in the mid lane. Actually, I think he's still my like third most played hero, despite the fact that I haven't played him in like 6 months because I just
Necrophos
used
is?
to. No, the Beastmaster.
Oh,
I used to
Beastmaster.
absolutely destroy
Oh,
with
he's
this
mine.
hero.
He's mine too. I guess that's why we're talking so much about him, because we're like
Yeah,
both
most
really
likely.
pumped to see the hero.
That and he has not been picked like hardly at all as far as a core hero in the pro scene in a decent amount of time. Like he's a very fringe pick, but no, I mean he is a legit hero and he has so much potential. Control runes with the a little boar there.
Courier
He can
snipe,
scout things.
Soneko! No!
Oh, it's Dusky.
Dusky!
I would give props to that play, but it's Dusky the Husky. You don't just slay Dusky the Husky and get away with it.
It's too
Dazzle
cute.
is on PA's contract list. I know they're on the same team, but betrayal incoming.
How dare you?
He talks.
Somebody called PETA.
Seriously.
A cute animal was slain. And so was an ugly one, the boar
That
going
was
down here.
the bottle, right?
Let's check it out.
Yeah.
I fixed
It was
that
a
bind,
2-7.
by the way. It was a full speed courier too, but, you know, 2 attacks is about all it takes. Bottle
And we know
down.
how much G likes to use his
Yeah,
bottle.
that's going to hurt him. God, or not God. Sadoi in trouble in the top lane. The Ignite goes out. I think they're going to go commit to this. I mean, they're still chasing. They got the Heartstopper Aura Ignite. He will go down. The squishiest of the divers here, taking the tower hits, but even he won't go down. Nicely done here. J4 picking up that first blood in bottom lane. Maybe the same thing about to happen. The slow will land here on Cheshire Cat. They're looking for the aura. The chains are going to go off. Oh, free 30 gold for BZZ. Can they find the kill, though? Trying to still chase him down. BZZ going the distance. There's no grave. There's no mana from Soneko, but this is getting a little dicey right now for BZZ.
Ooh.
Cheshire Cat to live. Now the board doing what it does best with that poison, slowing him down. The axe is coming through. Cheshire Cat with the kill. 2-0 right now for the Power Rangers. Really, really good for this Beastmaster. Level 4 already, and he'll actually go, 2-2 right now. You'll see that third point in Call of the Wild next, and then I would expect Alt and then Inner Beast at 7.
Wow, that TP from Dazzle. It may just be a level 1 Shadow Wave. It doesn't seem like a lot, just getting a little itty-bitty 80 heal, but it is what tipped everything over the edge. I mean, you look at this guy and you see how damn tanky he is. It's got to be frustrating to go up against this, but a naturally tanky hero going for Stout Shield and Ring of Protection to start. He's had 8 armor and a magic stick, as well as a Stout Shield. Like, This guy is not easy to bring down, giving plenty of time for Dazzle to come in and turn things about, and bringing down the Ember Spirit as their second kill on the board. Like, that's just absolutely incredible. I mean, like, obviously the kill in Sedoy was just really well manipulation of his Kraken shell. They waited for the Ignite until after the Kraken proc the first time, but man, that second kill was all about the rotation, the reaction, and a good skill shot from the Wild Axis. That was absolutely legit, and it sets back Ember Spirit substantially, as it could have been a kill the other way.
Indeed. Well, we'll check out what are the levels. Level 4 on Tidehunter as well, so it's just a little bit behind, but might be taking that second death. Are the TPs going to be here for Virtus.Pro to save their offlaner? Yes, they are. Can they do the repeat? This lane's got a little bit more sustain, though. Sedoy will still survive. J4 might go down. He's still taking tower hits right now, and he is going to fall. They will turn it. Ogre Magi goes down. Going to be split, but Yol, he TPs in. He will give up that kill. Shaklo on the Necrophos is going to be picking up that one. And, well, Zeus is doing okay. He's got his bottle back as well.
Yeah, so the big thing there is the Echo Stomp does not get woken up by towers, and generally speaking, you cannot switch the aggro of the tower when you are asleep. So, yeah, in that position, he is just stuck to take a number of shots. The rotation was absolutely perfect from the other Titan, and they get a point on the board. It did cost them, though. Essentially a support for a support, but it looks pretty good on the ET's resume there. He's able to make those very close call plays. Jotham's going to flank onto Cheshire Cat. They're going to get some good damage onto him. Silence will enhance the damage from this.
Yeah, not going to do that one.
The Zeus from global range. So they do make the rotations once again, but they're not going to be able to return anything this time around, and it is going to be Beastmaster to take his first death this game.
Well, we were talking about that bottle snipe being massive. God, though, still leading the CS in that middle lane. He's 34 and 5, even able to get 5 denies with the not so good right click of Zeus. PA at 29 and 2. That's who's going up against in this middle lane. Obviously, the Magic Wand is complete. It's a very smart purchase there from the Phantom Assassin. The next lead farmer is the Ember Spirit. Did take that one death, but BZZ just got an assist, as we saw, 34 and 11. And, yeah, all right, everyone pretty even amongst the cores. God, the only one pushing the envelope a little bit.
So, I mean, I think the status quo helps out PR pretty nicely here in the sense that, like, they want the Necrophos to be able to build up in a calm and complacent laning phase. They want him to be able to get some good core items. If there's a bloodbath, then it just sets back the Necrophos so substantially. He wants to get a little bit early farm, so he can survive in the team fights. Going for the double ROP build, he goes for Basilius Tranquils, and he's going to go straight for the Aghanim's after that. Now, I have seen Point Booster, Blink, then Axe, and that has worked, and we've also seen that Bloodstone build when he goes for the Soul Ring, but I don't know if that's what he has in mind. I think it is just going to be an Axe after maybe one other item.
All right, BZZ in some trouble in the bottom lane. That's the Roar. While I talked about it maybe not being very good on Tide, it's fantastic. And killing and locking down this Ember Spirit. Unfortunately, at this early stage of the game, they don't quite have enough damage, and the Thunder God's Wrath comes out. That's going to be the start of the turnaround. They look for J4 now. Yol going to actually now back off. It's 3-3, just under 8 minutes right now.
Yeah, so one big thing there was the Dazzle was baiting charges on his magic stick. He had 7 charges, a big heal, and then he could have followed it up with Shadow Wave. So he was hoping that they would keep putting more damage into him. They would keep chasing, and then they would be able to turn it around against them. But that Global Zeus, you can't tell when Thunder is going to strike.
J4. I think he bit off a little more than he can chew. He doesn't quite have the arsenal to bring down the Fire Shield. Actually, the Ignite will burn it down, and I guess, yeah, only 2 points in Flame Guard, so just enough. But when rank 4 Flame Guard comes out, it's going to be very difficult to bring that off of the Ember Spirit, unless, I guess, both the Ogre and the Necrophos are around.
Yeah. The Flame Guard is ridiculous, and it's absorption scaling. Obviously, at level 2, it can negate a lot of spells, but at level 3, like, the Death Pulse can't even go through. Like, you can't do any damage to him, yeah, in an easy sense. He did, however, go for the third point searing chance to double the damage it will deal, and that, of course, has its own merits, but in a more offensive sense. Anyways, the Ember Spirit lucky to sneak out there with a very low amount of HP. The Elder Titan now as well. Man, do they wish they had the Zeus on their team, but no such luck. Still 2 good Thunder God's Wrath coming out from G, and none for Power Rangers. So they are still holding on pretty well in this early laning stage. Let's check the stacking status. Boar is going to be I thought he would be stacking the last bit, but it's 9-10, and he did not. So Looking over at the Radiant side, they have been sentryed up for a decent amount of time. Now that's expired, and maybe Tide can get some stacks for himself.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see both teams doing it. I have noticed, again, watching some Beastmaster replays, that a lot of the people don't even rely on the Ancients because you'll sometimes only have the 2 points in Wild Axes for a while. And it's a pretty big time commitment when you're bringing down the Ancient stack.
Oh, yeah,
Even
definitely.
with maxed out Wild Axes. And sometimes, if the game's not going well, you can't really afford to do that as a Beastmaster. Because if your team's getting decimated and you're like, what are you trying to finish? A mech? A Blink Dagger, probably, in this day and age. Sometimes it can go south from there.
This day and age, dude. Blink Dagger is like a TI1 item. This has been around for a long time.
But I meant just with the reduced mana cost.
Yeah,
It's definitely helped Beastmaster, again, being a strength hero.
Definitely. And the fact that he'll have a Soul Ring on top, he won't have any mana issues at all. But that's comes to help out the Wild Axes a little bit in the farming sense, if he has the time for it. But right now, Sadoi is actually stealing some creeps right here. I'm not sure who was stacking this hard camp on the western side of the Dire jungle, but Sadoi anchor smashing it down with the help of the Elder Titan and a few Arc Lightnings going away. So although J4 will get his share of the experience, all the gold will be going to Virtus.Pro.
Yeah, John is nearby. He's going to try to throw on that Static Storm. Look at this. This is how to bait 101 right now. I didn't know I was going to be enrolling in a class today, but I guess we have. The smoke is up, and they're actually not going to take it. So PR, very, very nicely done. Did not get baited into that. I mean, it's a pretty hard kill on Tidehunter. It's pretty hard to bait with the Tidehunter, too, because you're close to your tier 1, and you know this guy's got Ravage up. Probably why PR doesn't go for it, though. Yeah, that's going to be the slow. The TP coming in. They bring one more. That's going to be the Dazzle. That's Soneko. Meanwhile, who's jungling? PA jungling, maybe. I don't. Were they stacked over there on the far side, on the eastern side of the Dire jungle?
Not that I know of.
No, yeah, just went in there and taken out the camps. Missing some lane farm, but whatever. There's still blood on the ground, so it's not like she's been gone long.
Most definitely. Shoslo is actually picking up the Soul Ring here, so I believe he is going to be going for that Bloodstone, which has a lot of tempo advantages. The fact that you have the quicker respawn, and your enemies, of course, have the longer respawn when they're hit by your ultimate, you're always going to have more heroes to bring to fights more frequently. And of course, it also helps stat-wise. All the attributes are very beneficial for him, and even the aspect of the death heal. If you have to, you can really help out your team in that sense and allow the PA to be the forefront fighter. But she's going for the lifesteal build now, maybe looking for a play against Jottam. They have so much slow on him. Just with 1 point of poison touch, it already does a third of the slow, but Stifling Dagger on top is a 50% slow, so it can hurt. So Doi makes his way down bottom. He has Ravage, but he's just looking to farm a little bit here and get some experience from an empty lane.
Tranquil Soul Ring, the new mana boots. Everyone going for it this game. I think the Tide's going to be working towards it. Beastmaster already has it. Yo's up top. That's the first Reaper Scythe of the game. We're going to see Shocklow dropping that one. And, well, wanting to avenge him on the other side of the map is Virtus.Pro. BZZ coming in hot, looking for our pink player Beastmaster. Cheshire Cat, though, will TP and head to the top lane. Beastmaster is a hero that likes to fuel that push. Probably why we don't see him all that much in 6.82, but TP's top, and they're going to look to bring down a tier 1 tower.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate for Elder Titan. He's already like 7th in net worth and 8th in experience per minute, and he just got taken out of the game for 45 seconds. Like, that is actually extremely painful for him. Fortunately, he's not the most dependent on his real build-up. After he gets to about like level, let's say 9 or 10,
Yeah.
it's actually pretty good as far as the levels go. But the gold will always be valuable, and that's going to be something that he's sorely lacking. BCC doesn't have mana for Searing Chains, but he bottles it up, and Cheshire Cat will be locked in. Soneko has 1 point in Shallow Grave. They might be able to bail him out, but a nice lure actually knockback slows BZZ, and it's hard to stay on target.
Oh, the Thunder God's Wrath is going to go out. Sadoi's here. He's looking for the Ravage. He could maybe have landed a bit over the tree line, but obviously they don't want to go that deep if they don't have to. And Astral Spirit will return, hitting for about 200 damage on the right click is the Elder Titan, but they're going to have to back off. They've actually got the attention of quite a lot of creeps right now, so not looking to fight into that.
Yeah,
finding the deny, though.
Yeah, that's convenient, but end of the day, I don't think it's what they came to the top lane for. They were looking for something bigger, but those Dazzle heals are pretty legit. I mean, he has an 8-second cooldown for 120 on multiple targets, and it kind of negated to some extent the Thunder God's Wrath. I mean, 2 Shadow Waves, that's your Zeus ultimate right there, and it's frustrating that they're not able to find the kill on a nice initiation from the Ember Spirit. He actually committed a couple of charges of his Fire Remnant there. In other case, they're still okay with farming status quo. Like late game, they can definitely fight, but it's not as clear cut. The Ember Spirit needs a lot more farm. He only has the drum phase right now. He needs to go into the Desolator or Battle Fury pretty soon. Probably the Battle Fury since there are no other right clickers. Generally speaking, I mentioned that the ET Natural Order really goes well with Desolator, but not only is Battle Fury far more standard, but the only other physical damage they have is like the ET Stomps and the Anchor Smash. So not the best item in this game.
All right, I got a question. Maybe a
Hmm.
bit of theory crafting, maybe a bit of just you telling me I'm silly, but what do you think of some of your core heroes just getting bloodstones when you go up against the Necrophos? Like if you're able to keep those charges. Seems like high risk, but dying and having that quicker respawn would be
Yeah, I
pretty
mean,
nice.
it has merits, but I would say that
It's a little
you
too
could just go for
gimmicky
like
to
a
work.
You could go for like a Linked Sphere and cause him more grief that way than anything else. Gonna have a little clash here. We'll get back to that in a second, but no roar coming out just yet. Medallion of Courage already up on the Beastmaster, so they have the physical damage. Then the negative armor really does help.
They're
I mean,
still
they
gonna
have
go,
three
oh, a
heroes.
remnant. Hello. Check the vision. Ooh, sorry. Yeah, those are gonna give off vision, so they know that this is happening.
I believe so. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, I switched to Radiant Vision, so they definitely
okay.
are very well aware. No
Unless
pings
wait,
coming
wait,
out, but
minimap. You got to think about it. Blur does take him off
oh
away,
yeah, that's genius. And the Beastmaster was smoked, so they
but now they
actually
see the Roche. They see the Roche.
yeah,
They're
they see
thinking,
Roche moving around, and now the pings finally come out. So that would explain the absence of pings initially, and that's that change to blur. It is very annoying to deal with.
hmm. Yeah, allowed him to split push on the tower a little bit. Get some good hits there, and almost got a nice little Roche play out of it. But they're smoking up. They're ready to rumble, and they do have the blink on Tide now. Yeah, but I mean, in theory, the Bloodstone can counteract some aspects of it, but it means that the deaths are even more painful because you lose
Those
charges.
charges.
So essentially, you're not only losing your life, getting the 30-second death timer, but if he finds those kills on you, you're also losing those big charges. So
You have to be rather ahead to have multiple bloodstones on
exactly,
your
it's a
team
momentum.
and 20 charges. So it seems like maybe something you do for fun, but I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
a
God
momentum.
might still go for it. He went 4-staff first this game, so it's a little different. And actually, speaking of the Bloodstone, and actually why I was, Shocklow himself on the Necrophos is going to have one.
Yeah, I think they're both going to go for it here, but I wouldn't say that it like necessarily counters Necrophos's tempo because although it is not going to allow you to Reaper Sight the same target twice in a row at level 16 or with Ags, it's still going to be a great ultimate, and you can just switch to a different target.
All right, J4, level 6. Here, multicast in the bottom lane. It is just on some creeps as he defends this tower. What quite a bit of life it actually does still have left. I think BZZ going to try to do something about that now. Elder Titan behind him, maybe throwing in a defensive Echo Stomp if he needs it. Taking the sort of, I guess, preferred new school build here where you do 2 more points into the Spirit and then 1 into the Natural Order. Yeah, I would say. I think he has 3 in there. So the 2-3-1 build, probably will max that out. And then look to go into Natural Order. Although I have seen 4-4-2 on the Elder Titan.
Yeah, I could see it. I still think you need 1 point in the ulti, though. Just my personal
Yeah, of course.
perspective on it. But as far as setup goes, they really only have the Searing Chains to guarantee that. So it's not the easiest spell to land, and it just comes down to practice. It's going to get some more stacks out in the jungle, of course. And so far, there haven't been that many kills.
Oh,
I mean, it's
PCC.
18 minutes in. You look at the Virtus.Pro lineup, and you think, damage everywhere. Oh, he's actually taking
Almost
some hits
goes
from
like,
the-
oh, neutral's about to get killed by
It
them.
works. It works.
He gets
But
him, though.
yeah, no,
Big
there hasn't
stacks.
been. There have been 7 kills in this 18-minute game, despite how much damage you actually see from Virtus.Pro. Now they have the ward on the high ground. The Observer ward will scout out the farming here, but even without a Battle Fury, he's actually taking care of these Ancients quite nicely, thanks to the help of the Wild Axis. No Medallion usage and no Aura, so Dityara is still kind of manning up on this one, but at least for the moment, it looks like he's not going to be contested on it.
Yeah, and while PA is farming Ancients, probably not all that efficiently, honestly, it was Ember Spirit and Elder Titan. They just took out a couple, 2-3 stacks in the jungle very, very quickly, and Ember already up to 2,400 gold, so he's got the phase, the Poor Man Shield, the Drum of Endurance looking towards... I know you kind of like to see the Desolator first against the Elder Titan, although it never seems to happen, so probably going for the Battle Fury.
For the
Ember Spirit.
Yeah, I was talking about that earlier. I think the Battle Fury is the go-to here because he doesn't have any other right clickers on his team. So he will go for Battle Fury. There's the Perseverance up. And if the Earth Splitters are really good, then you also get the cleave effect when they're all clustered together. It vacuums them together, so it's pretty legit. But otherwise, it's just a nice way to farm quickly and to hold your high ground. But Lincoln Sphere might be an item that he needs to go for after like getting his crit up, or like I would say Crystallis, then Lincoln's, and then go for the Daedalus. But it really comes down to how quickly he's farming. But as you mentioned, the Primal Roar is really, really good against Ember Spirit, and I do think that somebody needs to build a Lincoln's this game. Maybe the Zeus to help out the Ember.
All right, well, only 7 kills right now. Virtus.Pro versus Power Rangers. Team is playing slightly reserved. We saw Zeus get out of control in the last game. Not so much here, but he is still doing well. He's at 8.2k net worth, first for his team, and make that third overall. Slightly above that is Dityara, the Phantom Assassin, at 8.8. Shocklow here, 9.2 on the Necrophos.
Yep, but there's going to be tower push down bottom. It looks like the Necro wants to TP for this one. No Blink Daggers to anybody, so they might not catch him off guard. The Fire Blast will not connect, and that's what they need to have any chance of bringing him down. He just jumps around and jumps away, and he is only 1,000 gold away from that Battle Fury. So pretty good position for him to be in. The Tide is actually going to be going for a Yules here. So we're talking about the Tranquil Boots not really allowing you to go for Refresher as quickly as you'd like to, because you can't obviously do the double Arcanes thing. But with the Yule Scepter, he should have a lot of mana to work with here. Big
Ravage. Gonna hit 3. Get some Greater Board in there as well. Beastmaster, the Ogre, Magi, they fall so quickly. There's a weave. Maybe trying to dissuade them a little bit, but Shocklow is coming in from the backside. Gonna get the kill. Finds the Elder Titan. Now BZZ, though. Oh, the BKB from Dityara gonna have to be used. Did they have the physical damage to bring him down? There's the Grave as well. They're chasing over the crit, as well as the Reaper Scythe coming out.
Wow.
Big death timer there on that guy, and God going over onto the Dazzle is going to get him. And overall, I think it's 2 for 3 in favor of Virtus.Pro. But with that Reaper Scythe, yeah, it might still not be over. They're going the Death Pulse, the crits coming in. Dityara.
Oh,
there's the deny. Loses those charges off of that, well, just completed, but then got more than 8 charges off the team fight. He's down to 7 right now.
Yeah. I found it interesting, though, the Dazzle's moves in that fight was actually really good. It seemed like, oh no, he's just running for his life, but what he did was draw the team away from the Ember Spirit. So the Ember got gunned down by Shocklow, gets this gigantic death timer, and all they do is chase down a Dazzle underneath this tower. So not only do Shocklow and Dityara bring down the Ember, but then they get to chase the Zeus and force the suicide. Not as great as a kill, but still pretty impactful, and now they get to go for Roche, because the Ember's still down for 20, the Ravage down for 75. The Medallion from Cheshire Cat enhancing, he does now have the Inner Beast as well as Basilius Auras helping them with this, but obviously Virtus.Pro don't want this to happen.
Yeah, if you look at just the teamfight recap, the teamfight as a whole was actually in favor of Virtus.Pro, like 750 gold and 1,000 experience. But if you look at the after effects of Zeus losing those Bloodstone charges and now Roshan maybe going the way of PR, then it's not really that good for Virtus.Pro in the grand scheme of things. And Roche, very, very low now, below 500 HP. Sadoy's going in. He does not have the Ravage. Can they find the steal? No. PA is going to pick that up. Zeus, God, has been roared. He'll get out of it. BZZ wants to go back in. John will be the first to fall in this exchange. Big sleight of fist, but he's going to have to zip out, activating that Fire Remnant to get out of dodge. They lose 1, and things looking pretty good for PR right now. Even a BKB has been finished up on the Necrophos' net worth, spiraling out of control. PAs as well, both of them 10.7 and 10.2.
Yeah. And it feels like just like 2 or 3 minutes ago, we were talking about the Ember Spirit almost being to his Battle Fairy. Like he wasn't about 1,000 gold off, but the time out of the game, you just get nothing. And they're actually going to go right back on him. He has to jump to a very awkward Remnant position to get out of a sticky situation. He's still going to be okay, but he can't really help in the base defense now. Like the tier 2 is being absolutely decimated, and they've got this Aegis to back it up.
Yep, Aegis did go to the PA. The 9-second BKB charge was used there on Dityara, but now he's got 2 lives and 1,400 gold in the bank. Ravage already off a cooldown from the fight that happened just a little while ago. They're going to open up things by bringing down the PA's first life. Shocklow is going to use that new BKB and now blinking through Dityara, trying to stay alive here, hoping to get the heals from his team. Team telling him, maybe you back off. We don't want to dive the tier 2. And Cheshire Cat's going to fall. God is here. He's doing a lot of damage. Reaper Scythe. It's a stun. Nothing more than that. Shocklow is going to go down here, and it's the PA. Her 2 lives. She's taken out. The fight, though, continues. They're chasing down J4 through the river right now. Ah, Bounty Rune as well. How nice. Activating that Fire Remnant. The aura's there. J4 is going to fall, and PR sustaining some pretty heavy losses. At least Soneko. The Dazzle here. Sorry, guys. Couldn't keep you up. He'll TP out.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously a very favorable fight for Virtus.Pro, using the Ravage extremely well, while the BKB was just still slightly on cooldown for the Phantom Assassin. One thing that PR are really lacking right now is mobility in the fights. There's no blinks, there's no force on their side. They're just walking around with bloodless movement speed, and that's just not going to cut it in these situations. Like the Necrophos, he pops his BKB, and then he doesn't want to really fully engage into the fight. If he's in Reaper Scythe range for the Skywrath there, who was the only low HP target, then he's suddenly in the zone of four heroes getting damaged. Roar will come out. The Reaper Scythe is not going to be there, but they still will get a nice, easy pick on the Elder Titan. In either case, yeah, they really want Shotchlow to essentially be in the fight to get the Reaper Scythe quickly, and if necessary, even suicide to heal the PA. But in this case, he definitely needs to at least commit the ultimate, and he couldn't get in the zone to do that. So they go right back bottom. They know the Ravage is going to be on cooldown for a long time, and this is their best time. And while I saw the Sage's Mask and Voidstone, my brain said Yule Scepter. Tide says, I'm going straight for the refresher.
I'm going
mana
for refresher
or not.
with 500 mana. I don't know if that's
mana.
You'll going to work
out. A little
out.
bit more when the item's done, but holy crap, is that not going to work? I guess it's going to be just fountain refreshing. Like
yeah, like use it
fight,
once, and then if you die, you still have it again for the base defense upon refresh and fountain. I mean, it's still definitely good there, right? Like, it has its merits. Obviously better if you can just end the game with a double Ravage, but here we go. That's going to reveal them, actually, even from smoke, as people were walking up the cliff to disable Ravage off cooldown in 10 seconds here, actually a little longer than that. So Nako is going to go down that burst damage, not able to even raise his hands for the shallow grave. He'll fall into a deep grave, and now nicely done. He can still blink out of those chains, but is still going to have a stun on the other side. The burst damage from the Zeus coming in. BKB is going to be thrown out, activating the Remnant to disengage. BZZ is out of there.
BKB. This BKB is dwindling quickly. That was your 8-second charge, now down to 7, and yeah, he's just using it entirely to just try to survive. I actually thought that he really, like, mega crit that Ember Spirit, because the second the big number came through, the Ember Spirit vanished. But it was just him remnanting, jumping around. So that was an overhyped moment by me. But nevertheless, see Searing Chains come out. That was a bad position for Cheshire Cat to be. He does have a Blink Dagger, so he thought he could just go for the axes and then blink away. But BZZ is too quick on the trigger.
All right, and they'll back up. It's kind of sitting on their high ground as their tier 2 takes just a little bit of damage. Some creeps get some right clicks in on it there. I think the Flame Guard actually just brought down the Hawk over here in the tree line. So it's a free, what is it, 60 gold at rank 4 for the Hawk?
They've changed it up a little bit, but it is
60
actually
or 90 or something
a deceptive amount of money.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Some cheap change for that one. Still the PA, she hasn't really progressed recently. Like, she has been sitting around 10k net worth for some time now. 1-1-1 on KDA, CS of 146, and her BKB charges are only going down. So, I mean, that's actually kind of feels to me like she's in a worse position now than she was 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, she is.
Which is obviously the opposite of the carry's intentions.
All right, tower going to go down. BZZ to get the last hit. Cheshire Cat will roar, but gets slept immediately. He won't have any follow-up. Jotum is still going to get blown to pieces. Sadoy trying the ult. Is he going to get it off? He will. He just lives. Now PA still with the BKB. Was not affected by that. Looks for the kill. Throws out the Stifling Dagger. It doesn't crit. It's not a kill. Will blink over. Bring him down anyways. But at what cost? He's surrounded by 3. He's got some backup. So Nako is one of them. Has 3 points in Shallow Grave, but even he's still, with the burst damage, either can't get in range or can't cast it in time. And I think he's going to give up his own life here. Maybe he buys some more time. He's probably going to throw out this grave. Like, you got to throw it now, because when Zeus sees you, you're going down very, very quickly. They're just going to wait it out. Not going to use more mana than they have to. Yol finds the double kill, 16 to 11 PR, while they were looking very, very good up to about the 21-minute mark. Suddenly, it went from a 3,000 advantage for PR, shifted 7,000 and more in favor of Virtus.Pro. They lead by 4,000 gold, 5,000 experience.
Yeah, it's just the amount of damage that Virtus.Pro can put out right now is something that PR don't have an answer for. The Death Pulse, people look at as a heal, but it's a really, really crappy heal. Every 5 seconds, he can heal people with a projectile for 130. The Shadow Wave is significantly better at 140 per 6 seconds, but and you can obviously get it instantaneously, but it's just not cutting it against all the damage that you get here. Zeus hitting level 16 really tipped the scales. They have the Natural Order, which amplifies that, and the Ancient Seal in some circumstances as well. So they can really just obliterate a couple of targets that aren't BKB'd up. And as we've been mentioning, the BKBs are not lasting as long as they used to. So what items items that temporarily gave them a lot of survivability in the team fights are now doing less and less. And obviously the Zeus is getting bigger and bigger, pulling up the Dagon 2 plus the Thunder God's Wrath level 3. And obviously the amplification I already mentioned. So, I mean, these heroes just die too quickly, and Dazzle is nowhere near the mechanism.
What does he have? He does have the urn. Okay, that's what I wanted to see when I go clicked on him, and he does have an urn. Very good these days. Is there an urn over on the side of Virtus.Pro right now?
I don't think they need one.
There's
I mean,
not.
they're not really like
Still a great
venturing in for extended pushing. They're just kind of in their base, then winning a fight, then in their base, and then winning a fight. Speaking of, Shashlo in a bit of a bad spot here, and it is going to be Yol to come in with the Yules, but not able to get him before the blink comes out.
I think that ultimate, while a little before the 8-minute mark of where we find out what the random time of Roche is going to be, was maybe just to scout for the Roche. If anything, I mean, nothing was happening, so it looked like it was just an intel ultimate from the Zeus. And found out where everyone was. They saw that Shocklow was alone, went to go harass him a little bit, but after all, he is still a Necrophos with the Blink, which he does have now. Blink, Bloodstone, BKB, a little out of the ordinary from the normal builds. Wants to be looking towards probably the Ag Scepter to at least disable those buybacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ag Scepter is really strong, so I think that's probably going to be his next point of progression. I mean, you could opt for a little bit more HP. I've seen Heart and Atos do wonders in the hero, but I just don't know if it's going to be sufficient. They're actually going to be maybe going on him pretty soon. They have the ET and the Tide, and it's perfectly worth it to just pop one ultimate, either the Earth Splitter or the Ravage here, to try to bring him down. Yule will find him out. There's the Yules to cancel the blink, and here we go.
What a buff to that item. They don't got anything for that, though. BKB, TP out.
BKB is insane. Like, that's almost worth a kill. Like, he had a 9-second BKB, now down to 8 seconds, and you're about to have a refresher on Tide. That, I would say, that is as good as killing him without him using the BKB.
Yeah. Might be able to at least come top to defend the push, but I don't even know if they're going to worry about it. They are sensing. They don't even have to sense. They actually know. Actually, where does he go down? Bottom rune. That's a quick crit. Ditya brings him down. Basher is there. And 2,000 gold just about, so looking to progress quickly to, I guess, the Abyssal Blade. Look, more lockdown for the Ember Spirit. Also potentially the Zeus.
Yeah, and that's
there
where
it
I think
is.
the
Refresher, 31 minutes. Only on a 650 mana pool, though. Probably won't see a double Ravage.
Yeah.
In the same
I'm looking
fight.
at the combat log here. The Stifling Dagger crit the Skywrath for 405. That's like almost half his health. He only has 910.
That's why I didn't see it.
autos.
It was too fast. Too furious.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, your first auto attack hits like milliseconds after the Stifling Dagger does,
Yeah.
and then 2 quick autos later. Goodbye, Mr. Sky. But yeah, that refresher, doing the math, there's absolutely no way he gets it off twice in a fight with his current items, but it's still very valuable for just enhancing the time on your cooldowns.
Yeah, I usually like to not do math. I just try to be at 1,000 mana.
Yeah,
That's
that
about what it
definitely
is.
can work.
And is this the particle effect here off this set for the Necrophos? It's pretty cool.
I think it's whenever he has Sadist, but I'm not positive.
From the set or just always?
From the set, as far as I
That's
know.
kind of cool. Turning him into like Terrorblade, I guess, with the footprints. Which I'm very glad reported over.
No, it's just standard. It's part of the set and has a little trail of pestilence there constantly.
Nice. Well, spreading death wherever he goes. He's, well, 9, I guess, is how many kills he's been involved in. Would like to get involved in a little bit more, as let's go ahead and see what we're dealing with. Virtus.Pro moving in towards the bottom lane. The tier 1 tower here. Generally a tower that falls very early, but this doesn't line up on the set of Virtus.Pro with honestly no push until Ember Spirit becomes a right clicker. Shacklow going to BKB up. Sadoy stuck in the tree line, cannot do anything about this. Both BKBs are going to jump on the Reaper Scythe. He's down for 100. Earth Splitter will go out, ends about there, and nothing happens. They'll throw out the chains from across the unpassable terrain. BZZ, I kind of like that play. He'll take one Spirit and now the further one into the tree line, but they're chasing him down. The Roar's going to be there. Unfortunately, all those Fire Spirits will destroy the trees, and they're going to find him out no problem.
Yeah, just let him right to him. Unfortunately, you can't. It's the problem with being a fire elemental juking through the forest. You tend to burn a few trees in the
Timbersaul's
process.
happy, though.
Yeah. He just, it'd be funny if, like, just a random game, he just has, like, he sees enough tree, even if he's not in the game, that enough trees die, that he just, like, calls over the mountains, good job!
Like, chop, 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 chop.
Yeah, that guy's crazy. Anyways, the Abyssal Blade will come out here. No Lincoln Spheres that I see. Nope. Zeus, I really think that instead of ranking the Dagon, Zeus should pick up a Lincoln's either for himself or for the Ember Spirit.
Yeah, and we'll see another Roshan attempt here. The slam going out. I'm glad that got buffed. Looks cooler. Roshan was kind of... he's big. He looks kind of scary, but anything that he did was kind of dinky looking, you know? Like, it wasn't that impressive, but with some of the visual updates, it's a little cooler. I could go for some more, though.
Yeah. So despite, generally speaking, being at a teamfight disadvantage this game, Power Rangers have gotten both Roshans, and that's actually a pretty big deal. It's about the death timers, when you get the scythe, when you pick somebody off, and doing pickoffs that your Rob barely
Look at that damage. That wasn't even a Thunder God's Wrath either. It was just, what, a Lightning Bolt with an Ancient Seal and an Arcane Bolt?
And Dagon, yeah.
Too many bolts, man. All right, refresher there. Zadoy, we saw him not able to even get off one Ravage in the last fight. We know it's an impossibility that he gets off two. Maybe with Mana Boots of allies, of which there are 0, so that's not going to help. So just the 12 wand charges, he can max that out at 15. And he gets kind of close, we'll see. But obviously a target that PR is focusing so that he cannot unleash that Ravage. However, God, once again, he went for the Force F first this game, so that's a little different. Bloodstone is up to 18 charges, which is utterly insane. Even with the Necrophos killing with the Reaper Scythe, he's going to respawn pretty quickly. And, well, like 32, 34 seconds, right? Would be his respawn right now? For Zeus, if he dies with 18 charges at level 19.
He has a 4-second respawn, yeah.
Yeah, plus 30 if he dies to Reapers, so...
Exactly.
34 seconds, not even that bad. Still less than the standard. 8 charges for Necrophos. We can look. We saw that Bloodstone come out first, and he's 10 charges behind. Still on default.
Yep. But, you know, it's had these ups and downs. Recently he's had some ups, so he's feeling a little bit better about himself than he was about 5 minutes ago. One thing I want to note is that Sadoy has picked up a Null Talisman. I believe that means he's going to have a Veil for the team, which is just awesome. It's going to give him the mana he needs to actually perhaps go for that double ultimate play, and it is also going to make their damage absolutely absurd. Natural Order, Ancient Seal, and Veil on somebody, like Zeus can just kill anybody. Hurt. He could do like 2,000 damage at least. But speaking of damage, it's so hard to see here coming just because how fast Skyrath dies. He has a Force Staff, but otherwise he really doesn't have anything he can do to respond to the situation. If they have vision, which they did on this Observer Ward, they'll be able to jump you.
Poor Jottum. He didn't see it coming either. It is nighttime right now. He just gets utterly obliterated. And so quickly, too. 18.2k is the net worth on Zeus. We saw him going for the Dagon. It's a little crazy, but it is a crap load of damage. We already talked about how the BKBs are dwindling already at 5 seconds, and truly that is your answer to this PA. Just blow her up, and they're not going to have a problem doing it after those 5 seconds are up, or even if Tide starts off this initiation. The Tranquils will drop. Something I mentioned yesterday when we saw the Tranquils with the refresher, like, if you get those Tranquils first, you probably have to sell them and then buy Mana Boots later. They no longer disassemble, so there's whatever gold efficiency lost. I think it's probably still worth it. The Tranquils are very nice for the laning stages of the game. And the Null Tally, while I think you're right, for the time being, it looks like it was just for some extra stats into that mana pool.
At least for now, the Arcane Boots will guarantee it, but now we're talking Dagon 5 up for Zeus here. If you're going to go for Dagon 3, you have a major incentive just to go for Dagon 4 and 5. Dagon 5 is absurdly expensive. Like, it costs way more than a Divine Rapier, and honestly, when you look at, generally speaking, the cost per damage of a single usage of Dagon, it's pretty shitty to go all the way to Dagon 5, but the cooldown gets so low that you usually get to use it twice in a fight if you play it right, and you can do that to clear out illusions. Oh, goodbye, Jottum. And Invisible Ember Spirit will be like, sorry, man, ninjas.
Like,
but yeah.
Very happy that I've caught the last 2 Skyrath deaths.
Nice.
Good work.
Camera work OP. But,
it is. It's a lot harder when you are casting the game, you know? Like, being the directed observer. Like, that was a lot easier for you, right? Like, being able to completely
it's very
focus your
different.
attention.
Yeah. I mean, I felt... it's definitely my main focus. Like, I was really try-hard about it, so I got to pretty much catch everything. I could count on, like, one hand how many kills I missed throughout the entire event, so that's a good sign.
Turns out Blaze has a hand with 100 fingers.
It's like, yeah, if somebody goes back and like looks at each game that I've done, it's like, man, that's a 12-fingered hand. What's wrong with you? But yeah. So the one thing I was going to talk about was the Dagon 5 being a very short cooldown, very spammable. You can kind of start a fight with it, and you can end a fight with it, and that's going to be really good if G lasts that long. But if he's their point of focus, if he gets hit by an Abyssal, this guy still only has 7 armor. As far as other heroes that have 4 staffs, you've got Jotum, and of course you've got the potential of Tide and ET to help bail him out. But generally speaking, I feel like he is a bit of a liability here if he gets locked down, and that's where the Ghost Scepter comes in. He's going to turn that into an E-Blade, I'm pretty sure, but at least for the moment, it's actually really good survivability utility since they don't have a Purge.
All right, Roche is going to be back up in about 3 minutes. We'll see if PR, they are, well, they took the first one when they were kind of ahead, or turning the tides, rather. And then they took the second one when they were starting to fall behind. Can they find the third? It would be very big for them. And I like this. Elder Titan. I mean, it's a hero that when he drops and returns the Spirit can return a lot of damage. And he's going for the Yasha. He's got tons of move speed with the Yules and the Yasha and the Tranquils when they're not broken. He's got to go fast, trying to deal some damage. Maybe we even see him go for a BKB, try to become that right clicker that we see somewhat rarely on Elder Titans.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be important to make sure there's Stomps Connect. Nice scouting ultimate just to make sure of what's what. They see who is where. The ET Spirit also helping in that regard. But yeah, the big thing about the Yasha is allowing you to set up more Stomps. The Stomp is such a critical ability in the mid to late game, and being able to have your Spirit move that much more rapidly to be able to connect with those Stomps is a really big deal. Beyond that, you're actually in a really bad spot here. Could be jumped on. He does have BKB at 5 seconds. Might be enough to bail him out, but let's see the initiation.
Oh my gosh, he's going to go to be aggressive here on a BZZ. The Abyssal Blade, the stun time is not long enough. He doesn't get the crits that he's looking for right there, unfortunately. And the TPs come up. That'll force everyone up in the top lane for the Power Rangers. Virtus.Pro also has all their members here. Who's orange? Yol is the only one a little bit behind. Maybe they see a ward from the Dire with those lightning bolts. They're pinging it out. Yol's like, please! I know you want to kill people, but come, tag on this ward. Or they don't know about it, and they're just standing on it. The pings were like right on the ward, so I thought Yol knew. But he's actually saying, I think, gather for smoke here, which would be maybe awkward smoke of the week, if not more than that. So that's PR actually, a bit of a blessing, going to find a little bit of space and should be able to dodge the smoke gank. But I don't know, man. Standing right here by the mid tier 2 might not be enough. It's going to break. Tidehunter's the first one to be seen. Oh, he's going for one. Can they bring him down? We'll get one Ravage off. Is that going to be enough? The 2 BKBs dodged it. It did hit the other 3 on the back lines. Yol thrown out to sleep. Will miss on everybody. Cheshire Cat blows up that Ember Spirit. No problem. Shocklow going to continue to chase. Did use the Reaper Sight. There's no buyback on the Tide right now. So with these next 80 seconds, PR might be able to get a bit out of this. And the team fight isn't quite over right now. They're still looking for Yol, and will he be able to TP out? He will. Okay. No ultimates, both used. Those single target ults.
Oh, but mid G going for the lasers, brings down J4, pew, pew, takes a little bit of damage, but it's going to be a 4-staff TP from Skywrath, and they both walk away for now. The Ghost Scepter against the Dihira can't connect with any potential bashes, and they just go in for the tower. They've got a long time without the Ember and the Tide. This is free reign for them in the map, as long as they watch out for that Dagon.
Who needs lasers when you've got magic, says Zeus to the Tinker, who hopefully we never see again in Dota ever. But teamfight recap, that one, it was 1-4-2. They really only got the Ogre out of that. Man, that's crazy. Big kills.
Yeah, that was at the
respawning in 30 right now. It was about 3,000 experience, about a 1,600 gold net worth change.
So they really want to focus on G. They want to jump in with the Abyssal Blade. They know they can do it pretty soon. They just need Phantom Strike range. But, yeah, the follow-up would be there if Beastmaster had mana. Do they have any Arcane Boots for him? Seneko in 13.
All right, they'll back off. Not feeling quite confident enough to push. They know that there will be another. Let's see if Tide refreshes this, actually. I'm curious.
I don't think so.
Nah, not with the 50 seconds to wait. They can probably...
Now that he has the Arcane Boots, anyway.
Maybe if they want to contest this Roche, he might do it, because PR, I think, are going to go for it within that 50-second cooldown time window. They've scouted it out with the Hill Troll, doing his due diligence.
Yeah, stacking it up, man. Any range creep will do. But I don't know if they really want to fight Roche this second. The Ogre's still pretty low level, could really use at least one more level to get his Bloodlust maxed out. The ET on the Radiant side in particular is really good at fighting Roche with the Earth Splitter, which has now just been put up to rank 2. And it just seems like a dangerous proposition. Like their other fight was so much better because they were the ones that had intel that VP didn't. And Virtus.Pro thought they were finding a pickoff. They were just going in, we smoke up, we look for an opportunity.
That was
What they
so
ran
awkward.
into was a immediate Beastmaster Roar and Abyssal Blade, taking heroes out of the fight. The Reaper Scythe comes down right after the Ravage, and they're in disarray from that point forward. I mean, BZZ got gunned down immediately after the fact. So it really was a matter of the knowledge that one team had and one team didn't. With this Roshan, it's on equal footing, and they don't want to risk that. PR actually might be gone on by this smoke, and this deceit could be very painful if they didn't fall back here.
Yeah, I thought they were going to go straight into the Roche
The
bit, but they
ward
just
sees
sort
them
of
out.
took that path. We need to find Sadoy. We got to go on Sadoy Cam. He's the one. His initiation has got to do good things here.
Good ward.
There's the jump in. There's the ultimate for the Vision. The double ult. They want to bring down the PA, and they will. Both of those heroes with buyback. It's a pretty big investment with the double Ravage, but it might be all they need to take out these last two tier 2s. PR probably not going to force buybacks to defend their tier 2, so I think with that Virtus.Pro, going to take quite a bit off of the map.
Yeah, knowledge is power, man. The intel provided by that Observer ward when they went in for the smoke play, that just turns everything their way. Obviously, they do have to wait for the refresher cooldown, but it's a free Roche. I mean, they're not going to buy back for this Roshan because what do you get out of the Roche? You get the Aegis, you get the cheese. They're going for it, though.
Well, I would have agreed with you. I didn't think they were going to quite buy back for it, but feeling that it is
They have to get
extremely
something, though.
important. Yeah, and if Virtus.Pro now back off and then even go in and potentially win, I suppose one reason for the buybacks is that double Ravage is down, so PR feels like they can bully their way into the pit.
They have to, because essentially what they just did was they traded the 2 of their lives for Aegis and Cheese, which are essentially 2 lives, but they take up item slots that are becoming more and more sparing. They need to take more than just Roche. They need Roche, for sure, but they also need one thing on top of that, at least a tier 2 tower or something. It really puts more pressure on them to get things done. And the reason that I don't like it beyond that, I mean, like life for life, it seems equal. But if they lose a fight, there's 2 heroes that cannot buy back for 6 whole minutes.
It's like a
And the
free,
Tide
it's a
is
free
certainly going to be able to
Necrophos.
double ulti within that time.
Free Necrophos for Virtus.Pro, essentially.
Okay, so you're out with the double damage, taking care of Roche pretty easy, bashing it, getting the Bloodlust on, but end of the day, they're going in for the Earth Splitter.
Wow, this could be a big Earth Splitter. Oh, it actually just is a little bit short. And I think, let's see, J4 trying to be kept alive. There's a Reaper Scythe coming down on God. Does not do a lot of damage. He's got 20 Bloodstone charges. He'll just suicide immediately.
Yeah,
Doesn't want to give up anything. He's really far ahead at 24,000 net worth.
Yeah, now they don't have the Scythe for the next big play. I think that, I mean, they still have the timing where they know that the refresher's not going to be up for about another minute, so they can push the tier 2. But as far as breaking high ground with the Aegis, it's a dangerous proposition. You only have BKB for one of your lives. The Ember Spirit is so damn good at holding high ground with this Battle Fury. I kind of feel like they all in with those buybacks, and they are under a lot of pressure right now to get things done. But the Scythe in 30 seconds, I think, is the cooldown they have to wait for.
Yeah, well, sometimes when you're under pressure, you rise to the occasion, and the other times you crack beneath it. And we'll see what happens here with PR. I mean, they've made it worth it a little bit with actually being able to force out bullying and grabbing the Roshan. They'll bring down a tier 2. Both of those were mentioned on the list of things to do to make this worth it. Still, it's a big investment. There's one more tier tower to get up here. And, well, actually now, they do have even a tower advantage. We'll look at the graphs. Maybe to get some more context on everything. Virtus.Pro still ahead, over 5,000 gold. Experience, though, after the last couple engagements, PR leading slightly. Graphs, I think, at this point in the game, not the important thing. 50 minutes in, that close, doesn't matter. It's all about the Necrophos disabling the buybacks and whether or not this PA and who was it that buyback? It was PA and Ogre that were the 2 buybacks? Yeah, so if they died, you know they're going to have a really long respawn time, and up top, boom! That's a dag onto the face.
He doesn't obviously get to use the cheese. I think he's just holding it anyways. But, yeah, it's going to be tough to hold the high ground in these kinds of positions because Virtus.Pro are knowing that there is a very significant weak point in PR's lineup right now. A big gap in their armor as the PA does not have buyback for 4. She does have the Aegis for about 3 minutes, yeah, but there's going to be a timing window where she is just extremely vulnerable, and they could capitalize on that in full. Or they can just feel safe in the fact that PR aren't going to be five-manning up to their tier 3s into Ravage without buybacks. There's a big difference between having a second life in Aegis and having a second life in a buyback, and that's because of respawning in the fight or respawning out. Sometimes one is better, but in this case, because of the Ravages, I would definitely say that the buyback is a lot better than the Aegis.
This hill troll, dude. He's been around to see some shit.
He really got something. Throw some bloodlust on him. Just gonna make him a little antsy for the fight. I don't know, but we'll see. Right now, it is gonna be the Agnum Scepter up for the Beastmaster, buying out for it. A huge pickup.
I think BZZ just pinged it out because he saw it, but he wants to get this nice juicy creep wave instead. That hurts, man. They're ignoring this hill troll. They jump on him so fast. I wanted to see the hill troll. BZZ goes down. That's Faith of Assassin actually a pretty good way to deal with him. Like jumping in with the crits top. Even, and now with that Abyssal Blade is even better. They're looking for Cheshire Cat up in the top lane, and they're not going to find a Dagon.
I like that initiation attempt, though. What they did was they Thunder God's Wrath and then shift queued jumped on the BOTs immediately, trying to stop the Blink Dagger of Beastmaster. If that's on cooldown, then the Skywrath theoretically gets the damage to put the Blink Dagger on cooldown again, and Zeus gets the kill. But there's a sliver of timing where he could disjoint the concussive, and he lives. Shotchlo, though, maybe
Ravage not. #1, the refresher. Ravage #2.
Nice
there is the grave, though, onto Shacklo. Going to try to keep him up a little while longer. Will he use the Bloodstone charges? No, he's going to BKB up. He's going to go. He's going to try to live. Ember Spirit down for 100. Tidehunter will buy back. And now, beyond godlike here, on the god-like character, it's Zeus. What can he do? He's immortal now. He's trying to stop this push. They're jumping in with the Abyssal Blade, and there's one life of the PA. Reaper Scythe coming out. It's not going to quite get the kill. The buyback is there. He is only down for 32 seconds anyways. Another shallow grave going out from the Dazzle. The buyback is here. Necrophos super low. Going to drop. Also only dead for about 30. Dies has 10 charges in the bank. They'll find the kills here. The cleanup on the supports. Now they're looking for Cheshire Cat. They're going to bring him down again without a problem. It's a double kill. With, again, another Dagon F-Blade combination there coming out from the Zeus, 24-25, and, well, minimal structural damage. The tier 3 tower is what falls. Melee will regen.
So, this time Virtus.Pro were the ones that were forced to buy back heavily here. We have a Skywrath, Ember, Zeus, and Tide all buying back for that fight, using both of their Ravages.
6 people on cooldown right now.
Just holding it. But I actually think that Power Rangers are in a really good position for late game now, because we've obviously seen what the PA can do to the Ember alone in the dark, but this is just... It's very difficult to deal with now. I mean, the 5-second BKBs are still a hindrance against Sudoi, and I think that there's a lot of potential for him to still kind of carry this game on his shoulders with the double Ravage. But as it is, those 4 buybacks are going to be weighing on them heavily at this point. I mean, you'll see the gold graph dip so big because that net worth shows how much gold they expended with buybacks, not just how much gold was earned by PR.
All right, man. I dip, you dip, we dip. That's what the graphs are doing right now. 2,500 in favor of PR for the first time in a long time, since about the 20-minute mark there. That 1 kill advantage over to PR. Not a single person in the game with buyback right now. I think just for 10 more seconds. 6 of them on cooldown. PA's coming up first, I think, at the 9-second right there. And a little bit short on gold for the other 3. That is the Necrophos that could get some farm in, the Dazzle, and the Beastmaster. And there you go, turning green. PA with that buyback there. Going to smoke up off of that. Looking for the Blink Strike Abyssal Blade once again. Going to look for BZZ. He doesn't know it. Well, actually, maybe he does. There was an ultimate beforehand. That ward is there, but they were...
No, they didn't see the smoke,
yeah,
but
they were
had an idea of where they were right before that, and John was going to
Doesn't even matter. They'll find out 1 support. But obviously farming across the river at this point of the game without buyback, like, you're just leaving as soon as a creep wave dies. Even that was pretty risky for him to be there.
Some big items on the verge here. The Lincoln Sphere is coming out for the Elder Titan now. It's coming out on the courier, so they'll have it in a few seconds here. And the MKB is only 1,100 gold away for BZZ. If they get those two items up, I think they're in a really good spot in the game. But right now, PR have control of the map, and they're suppressing the farm with the Ember.
Lincoln Sphere. There's an item we like to see.
Yeah,
just
and
about every
keep
game.
Building one as well. Could go for Hex.
Going to really help mitigate the effects of the Abyssal Blade. You see Yol buying it, not for himself, but just to put it continuously on top of this Ember Spirit. He is pretty much their hope right now. Ember Spirit and the Zeus, Fire and Lightning teaming up here.
Yep, Shoshalo has a refresher orb, stashes the cheese for somebody else to pick up. And yeah, this is going to be the hyper late game Necrophos. I mean, I don't think you get much bigger than this. There are other items you can go for. We've seen Shiva's Heart. There was one more in mind, but I forget. Oh, Hex. Shiva's Heart and Hex all work out for the hero pretty well. But for this game, I love that. I love that sound effect.
It's pretty like, what? Like the first time I heard it, I was like, what? I didn't get it, but it's my favorite thing in the world.
So, yeah, I think the Necrophos is pretty much at his peak right now once he finishes his buyback gold search. PA is the only one with buyback right now. But honestly, Virtus.Pro banking for buyback isn't as important because now you're up against double Scythe with Aghanims. You can't buy out no matter how much gold you have if you die to the Scythe. And even that Liquid Sphere might be insufficient to block it out if they're good at manipulating their small items there. They've got no Force Staff at all. Okay, so no Force Staff. They have literally nothing to pop the Linken's item-wise, huh? They have an Abyssal Blade, which you don't want. You want that to connect.
Yeah, that's definitely not the one.
So
I mean, just the abilities from J4.
Yeah, Dazzle and Ogre can obviously pop it with small spells, but no items to make it really quick.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was hoping that... oh, I thought he sold the cheese. It looks like he just dropped it and gave it over to the Ogre. Yeah, that's what it was.
And since he doesn't have like a Soul Ring or anything, he needs the cheese for the unrefined spam.
I was hoping for a refresher cheese play, because those of you that don't know, it does have a 40-second cooldown.
Oh, getting double cheese? Well,
yeah.
it's still possible. But
although I don't think they stack if they're both from different people, so... Right?
It's not possessed by anybody, so you just give it...
It has Cheshire Cat's name on it, because he picked it up first.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't think they stack if they're... But if Cheshire Cat gets the other one, he stacks them. I don't know, that's a weird mechanic that doesn't really
haven't
matter.
gone that meta on my cheese stacking strategy.
We'll get there. Come on, Blaze. What are you, rusty? Not doing your research? That's why Dota's a fun game, right? Like, there's so many random things that, like, you never think you're going to have to know, and then one game you have to know it, and then you're just like, well...
Yeah, some people hate that fact about the game, but...
Yeah, I love it. It's hilarious.
Anything can work. Alright, so we've got the Veil of Discord up on Sodoi, looking to bring in the big initiation. We've got the MKB up on Ember Spirit. He's got a Lincoln Sphere on top. He is looking fine to survive, assuming the Ogre doesn't get in position to Fire Blast that Lincoln's off, or the Poison Touch. Neither has Blink, neither has Force, so I think he's safe to at least block off a single Reapers or a single Abyssal Blade. But you never know. Ditya going for the solo Roche Blade. This is actually pretty huge. You get the cheese, you get the Aegis, and you're a pretty happy camper. So we're going to see Aegis go to Ditya. The cheese is still sitting in the pit, and 5-second roll.
Roar, who's it going to be on? It's actually on Sodoi. Can they find him? The Reaper Scythe is there. That means no buyback for over 2 minutes. They're going to find Johnham as well. Not a surprise. He's gone down quite a few times. The Death Pulse to connect. The right click is there. The Aura as well. Shacklo finds the double kill. 60 seconds on Johnham and that full 2 minutes, and no buyback between either of them. The only buyback right now on Virtus.Pro is this Ember Spirit, and with that refreshed immediately, the Reaper Scythe, they're looking for a big game-winning kill.
Yeah, they just left the cheese in the pit. Corey's going to pick it up, but that's not mattering right now because this could very well be the end of the game here. It's going to take a miracle for Virtus.Pro to actually do this without the Tide. He's down for so damn long, and there's no tier 3 on bottom.
Yeah, that was exposed a little while ago. They're going to go straight into the range racks. There's the Fortify going to go out, but the jump through. Got to activate that Satanic. His BK beat up. Does not get the HP back. I guess he's got 2 lives. Maybe we overreact a little bit. The Roar onto Yol, keeping him down there by the Tree of Life. God is going to try to force that back into the base, and the Reaper Scythe on BZZ. That is the game.
Yeah, they're going to take all the racks here. Ember can clear out creep wave after creep wave, but not when he's dead for 100 full seconds. Ditya just destroying this. He's got Bloodlust, Satanic, Abyssal AC, BKB, Aegis, and the Power Treads. The greatest item of all.
Gotta get the Power Treads. You're nothing without the power of the Treads. Nice ultimate, though. There's 1 life. God trying to do what he can as Power Rangers maybe bite off too much, trying to go straight for the tier 4s. So like,
you can buy back BOT, right?
Off.
You can still jump back into this. He has enough gold for buyback BOTs. He has a cheese now. Yeah, they can't force him out of the base now. This is going to be the end of the game here in just a minute. And G getting crit down. Oh, the damage. Even with the Bloodstone, he buys back. It's the last stand, but they have no tide still for 15 seconds. Necrophos, how good is this hero?
Pretty good. I wish we had the stats, man. I know we were talking about Omni Knight, who's a hero that's coming into the games. We don't see him all that often, but has a great competitive win rate. I feel like Necrophos must also be sporting a really good competitive win rate.
Oh, go in. G wants something. He had the Lincolns this time around because Ember's down, but Shotzo dodges the stomp with the BKB, and yeah, they just can't focus him. He has a Reaper Scythe up right now if they want to re-engage, but if they walk away, that's still 2 lanes of racks they just won. Virtus.Pro will not be tapping out until they are all in the grave here, but I feel it's almost only a matter of time unless Sadoy is just magnificent on this tide.
Yeah, he definitely does have the potential to go for the big double Ravage. Most of the time it's been mitigated somewhat by BKBs being used up before the blink in, and also by people having multiple lives. Every single Roshan this game has gone to PR, VP. They watched this demo. They're probably thinking to themselves, maybe we needed to control that Rosh a little bit better or go for it earlier, but they don't really have a lineup that facilitates the killing of Rosh.
Yeah, I was thinking this PA, is she going back for a Battle Fury just because she can to farm waves while she's not fighting and kind of go for that 7-slot Dota? Nope. You're going Refresher Orb and you're looking for the double Abyssal Blade. It's kind of the nail in the coffin if you get that second blade off.
And you know what, a hero. You're a hero from skills. You've got a free Daedalus, you've got a free Blink Dagger, and you've got a free Butterfly. And now you can refresh a 2-second stun. So pretty.
You've got all
good.
these passive effects, and now you get these active items: a double BKB, a double Satanic. I actually thought that Satanic cost mana at one point, but does not now. So we're going in on Chashlo, getting bursted hard, but Ditya is already in the front line and can refresh at any moment.
Now Sadoy, he's got to wait for these BKBs, because otherwise, what's the point of the Ravage? And meanwhile, he gets Reaper Scythe down. And again, no buyback. He was the target. There's the refreshers coming out. That was actually the PAs going there, and it is a big chunk of mana for that agility hero, but it brings down Yol. 100 seconds and no buyback for the Tide. He probably won't even see the sunlight again as he's down there in the depths, hanging out with Starladder right now.
So, I mean, Ditya just makes it look easy. He throws the Stifling Dagger right on the Limpid Sphere target, takes that off, and yeah, he's going to go in to finish off. Oh, the long-range right-click, but the Ghost not going to keep him alive. Oh, he goes down, and Ditya back up to full HP with that Satanic usage. Boom goes the Dynamite. Ditya, Dota, finding his wings here. 35,000 net worth behind the Necrophos at 32k. Man, what a hell of a game. This looked really bleak for a very long period of time. Virtus.Pro were in the driver's seat, but PR make an aggressive play with a couple of buybacks, and it actually works really well for them. They not only deny the Roach from Virtus.Pro, they take it for themselves, and then they force a quadruple buyback, stopping Virtus.Pro in their tracks. Some amazing team fights, some really good pickoffs. I mean, PA just found random picks on Sky and Ember all game long, and it really adds up. The fact that he got 17 kills, 9 assists, got him to the level of farm that we see here today, and that gives him 17.1 fantasy points by the end of this 1 hour-long game.
Yep, so under the pressure after those buybacks, they definitely rise to the occasion. They make all the right calls, and that's really, in the end, why it works out for Power Rangers. So very well played, VP versus PR. It's in the books, so ladies and gentlemen, and looking forward to the schedule of today in Starladder Season 11 in Europe. We've got 4 anchors versus Basically Unknown, and then Basically Unknown versus Na'Vi. So that's what's on the schedule. We hope you'll stick around. The next game should be coming up relatively soon. So stay tuned here to twitch.tv/Dota Starladder_EN. I'm your host, Helium. You can follow me on Twitter at HeliumBrella here, Blaze at BlazeCasting, and we'll be back in a moment.